Hello everybody, welcome. I am coming to you live from Nakhon Si Thammarat in the south part of Thailand. For those who don't know me or who have not joined before, welcome. My name is Lynn, and yes, Ashley is my daughter, and she is finding herself currently in Thai prison. And on Fridays, normally I would write her, I would read her writings that she has sent to me via mail. And yes, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. It is a beautiful day today, and we had some rain last night, but today was not a clear day, but it wasn't raining. And yes, the weather is good. Hi Cherie, thank you so much for joining. And we'll wait a few minutes for some more guys to join us. Casey, thank you so much for joining. And with Facebook, it seems as if your names are taking a little bit longer to appear on my screen. So yes, thank you so much guys for joining. And it is Friday. I hope that you guys had a good week, and that you will have a wonderful weekend. Yes. So is it Sharida? Let me just check. Sharida, thank you so much for joining. Casey, welcome guys. To everybody who hasn't joined before, a warm welcome to you guys. And yes, so tomorrow I will be traveling to Bangkok again, and this time it is to join a conference with the organization that I am studying through. So I am very excited to meet the guys or the girls, the guys and the girls, and to spend the weekend up until Monday at this conference. Yes, and God willing, I will return on Tuesday. The first flight on Tuesday morning, which is, I think it's 6 o'clock or just after 6 o'clock. Elita, thank you so much. Jessica, Anari, Cherie, for joining. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you guys had a wonderful week. So I visited Ashley again this afternoon, and she looked beautiful as always, and she was super excited to tell me her news. So she said that apparently she got so fed up because the other people who dance, they don't choose her for the group. So normally there would be, I think, 8 people dancing. And then they have the traditional dances as well. But normally, you know, since Ashley just loves dancing and she's quite a good dancer, ballroom, Latin and such, just actually any kind which she puts her mind on, you know, she can do very well. So, and it seems that she has started doing the Thai dance as well at some stage, but obviously with the hands that they do, you know, our hands are not so flexible like the Thai people, because they practice this since, you know, they are little kids. But anyway, how? So she said she complained to God about it. She said, but Lord, you know that I enjoy dancing and everything, and why won't they choose me? Why am I not part of it, the group sometimes? So then it just happened that the one officer came to her and she said, oh, but why are you not part of the dance group? And she's like, well, they didn't choose me. And long story short, it ended up that they did put her into the officer ordered them, whoever is in charge, to put her into the group. And so there are two things. So the one thing is that the group, the dance group, they are allowed to go back to their rooms at 6 p.m. while normally everybody is supposed to return to their rooms at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But now, since they need to practice, they get an extra 2 hours, but which is obviously amazing. But now, to have that privilege, they have to move to another room. And Ashley says, but that it is a horrible room. So I'm not quite sure in what way it's horrible, but apparently it is horrible. So they were moved just before her name got put on the list, apparently. And then the officer said, oh, well, you're not going to move rooms, but you can practice by yourself. And then on the weekends, you can practice with the group. So you still need to go back to your room at 4 o'clock. But yes, so it is a relief for her because, you know, it's actually like a catch-22 where, you know, you have this extra 2 hours outside, but now it means that whatever is wrong with this room makes it so horrible, you know, but she would rather not move to that room. So yes, she's very excited. But the best part is the reason why they are practicing now. Oh, and they need to have something apparently that would be different than other prisons or whatever. So the reason for this dance, and she is, so you know, when there's not a lot of foreigners around, then you like a showcase animal. And it could be, it depends on the way that you see it or whatever, you know, if it's good or bad. But it is quite strange. But anyway, so she's now part of the group and she's going to do her ballroom dancing. I think she's got a number by herself or something. And they've already ordered her dress. And it's apparently the most beautiful dress. So it's like cream or something, the tie top. And then together with that, the bottom would be like a normal ballroom dress. So the theme that they want to use is the old with the new or something like that. So the tie is the old world or whatever, and then with the ballroom. And this is because the His Majesty will be visiting the prison. Isn't that something? So they are not sure who of the family exactly will be visiting, but yes, it will be the royal family. If it will be His Majesty himself and his wife, we are not sure, but it is the royal. They heard the royal family will come, and that is the reason why they need something different, something special, something, yes, and that something is Ashley. So someone apparently said, well, we don't need anyone else. We can just send you out there. So I cannot wait to hear how it went. So this would be on July the 2nd, which is a Wednesday. So I'll be visiting her the afternoon, and this takes place in the morning. So very, very extremely excited, guys. And I cannot wait to hear all about it. And then next week, Friday, God willing, then we will have our in-person contact visit. So the prison staff, they're already preparing everything, putting up their little tents and stuff on the outside for us, you know, to go from point A to point B and then to go inside to visit our loved ones. So they're already preparing, and Monday to Thursday would be the men's side, a men's family coming to visit, because there are much more men than women. And then on Friday will be the women's turn. So yes, we are very, very excited about everything that is gonna happen. And then yes, we are still waiting to see about the forgiveness, about the royal pardon. And yes, nobody can tell us anything when it's gonna happen and if it's gonna happen. So we all trust that it will happen, but nothing is a given. So as soon as we hear anything, I will obviously let you guys know. Almarie, Casey, Mashida, is it? And Charissa, Saris, Michelle, Bianca, Cheryl, Brenda, Vesna, Antoinette, Almarie. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining. And unfortunately, I cannot see all of your names, and it's going to take some time to greet each and every one. But welcome so much. And we really appreciate your support. Yes. So without further ado, I am going to read you today's piece. And this is Ashley's story. I've numbered it number 11, and it is called The Move, Part 1. So she wrote this on January 26, 2023. And this was when she got moved from Koh Samui to Muang Nakhon Si Thammarat. Yes. So nothing in the world could be more natural for a girl who loves fireworks than to turn around to have a look at the source of these dull but prominent pops, these fire flowers, as they called here, light up the sky with an ethereal garden as young and old alike look up to wonder at the colorful effusions in all its variety fizzle out into nothing, only to leave an opaque window for the next flower to appear and shed its petals. They never fired without a reason. It's only shot in times of celebration, when we rejoice, when there's victory, remembrance, festivities. It's a greeting and a goodbye. All I see is a wall, but then I know this already from the previous years. So why do I look? Is it instinct? Or is that what you still call hope? As this time of year comes around, oh, allow me to wish you all a happy new year. I too recall stories of my own that may or may not be worth telling, and so allow me to take us back to about 3 years ago, December 2020. Though I have been here but a short time, one quickly gets acquainted with the comings and goings of an institution when there is so much repetition. I can barely communicate with them, but simple, quiet observation communicates well enough if you're patient enough to listen. The unnecessary loud rattling of keys at such an ominous hour of the early morning sufficiently lets me know this is no ordinary roll call. I instantly wake up, flummoxed, with no time to ask any questions, because a moment later the heavy-booted footsteps have arrived and have started calling out names without ceremony. Everybody is in a frenzy. Horror-stricken faces take leave of their fellow sinners with sobs and hugs that seem to plead, "Don't let them take me." The impatient guard leaves little time for whatever final words the chosen ones still ramble to their friends. Stern voices see this scurrying to collect their blankets, and they're gone. I am half expecting to see their clothes in a bundle on the floor, wondering if I've witnessed some kind of rapture. But then I suppose none of us would have gone. Thank God there is still time. In broken Thai and English, I gather enough to know that the higher sentence prisoners are being transferred. How horrible could this place be that they're being taken to? December 28, 2021. A year later, and I've been woken up to sit my hour of night watch. I've grown quite fond of these hours because they are the only in my entire day that there is complete silence. There's none of the screeching voices that always seem to be shouting instead of talking. No obnoxious laughter or talk show hosts or Northeastern style Thai songs that seem false every second note. Just me looking over all of them as they're sleeping. Kind of like nap time when I was a kindergarten teacher, except not at all. The occasional grinding of teeth heard from these still coming off drugs are in terrible contrast with the sleepy toddler sounds I used to smile upon. It is greatly due to these early hours that I go to learn the Thai alphabet and memorize new words. But more than that, I use this quiet time for prayer and Bible study and meditation, as it is today. My shift ended at 3 a.m. I feel calm, composed. I feel like I finally overcome all obstacles in here. My life is stable and all is good as it can be while I'm waiting to go home. I drift off into a slumber with these soothing thoughts. Scarcely an hour later, and again these keys are heard. I've not yet had the time to rest nor wake up properly when I hear a single name called out, Asli Ustazen. Big eyes stare at me. The officer is waiting. The cell has been opened. My whole body is shaking. Only me? I get up and follow the officer out. As I pass the cell of my best friend, her sleepy eyes try to make sense of what's happening, but is quickly enough to say a last few words to strengthen me. Probably affected by the frenzy of the year before, I'm filled with emotion. I walk spectre-like, shaking my head like a terrified little girl reporting, I'm not going, I'm not going. It is the first time in 1 year and 2 months that I've been outside while it's dark. And though my soul is cognizant of the beauty of the glimmering stars, I am yet too overpowered by the darkness to see the light. I am told to get a shower. The water has not yet touched me, but my teeth are clattering non-stop. I'm choking back sobs, but shedding no tears. My body recoils from the cold water, but it wakes me up properly. I make up my mind to stay intractable to the last. It is for the female officer that I saved my tears, thinking perhaps it will help mollify her, and out of compassion she'd let me stay. But she's got a job to do and has tactics of her own. So instead of using force, she's coaxing me, saying that if I get dressed, I can go ask the male officer myself. Prompted by this nascent hope, I finally accede. I still find it in me to go fetch 5 books from my library to take with, even though I'm not going anywhere. I walk out of the ladies' section and the heavy metal doors shut behind me. And after 14 months of good behavior, kind words and obedience, I finally show them what they expected of me since I came here: resistance, difficulty. I'll not seek pity from someone who has none to give, or try to sweeten that which is bitter. So I restore myself to a haughty mien as I take place in front of the head officer. Once again, I am the only woman in a room full of foreign men, and I'm instantly on my guard, brave enough to speak, but not wise enough to step down. I sit down on the chair in front of him. Whether it was intended for me or not, I cross my leg over the other, a perfectly appropriate pose for a woman in the Western world, but an impolite gesture for a woman prisoner if the male officers are present. But here I sit, arms folded, back straight, never touching the back of my chair, demanding to speak to my embassy and ordering them to call my lawyer as I hand them the scrap of paper I hastily prepared with the attorney's number. I'm obstinately arguing at each point, much to the amusement and astonishment of the 20 or some male prisoners neatly lined up on the floor behind me, which could have been called the auditorium at that stage. Eventually, the head officer gave orders to have me physically removed. As the appointed guard comes closer, one deadly glance from me stops him in his tracks. He takes a step backwards and looks pleadingly at his superior to relieve him from this uncomfortable task. Was it pity for this man that made me realize that I'm not going to win this fight, or the now raised voice of the head and the fire in his eyes? I can't rightly say, but by now I'm nearly out of ammunition too, and I became aware that I'm holding everybody up. Sometimes you have to go where the wind blows you. I give in. I raise an open hand as if to smooth or silence the commotion wholly created by myself and tell them, "Don't, I'll go." I'm greeted by proud looks and smug smiles from the helper prisoners staying behind, and I leave a message to my friend, "I'll miss you." They promise to relate all that's happened and wish good luck. Even the other officers show their concern and try to encourage me. "It's not so bad. You like it there," which softens me, only to get to the van and receive an award of my hullabaloo, shackles. I've always been fond of anklets, but this is too much. It's a bit too much. One around my ankle, the other attached to the vehicle. By now, I've shivered with fear, cried without tears, effused all my prayer, and so the only thing left to do is laugh. So I'm an escape risk, am I? Ha! From that point on, I continued in a good mood, giving myself to fate. There's a door separating me from the male convicts. I'm sitting on the right-hand side, and our two escorts are on my left. The female isn't disposed to talking to me, so unlike her. But then probably because of my little show. She eventually starts to warm up though, and the male officer has all kinds of curiosities he wishes to appease by talking to a foreigner. The conversation turns to coffee. And as we've arrived at the ferry port, the two get off to go into the shop. A few minutes pass, and here he comes carrying not one, but 2 cups of iced coffee. My whole countenance lights up at the sight of coffee from the outside. But a dark cloud is quick to pass over when the female officer appears from the other side of the van, accepting the cup. While, of course, slightly annoyed at myself for misunderstanding the male officer's question of "Do you want coffee?" as "Have you had any coffee yet?" To which I answered negative, of course. Little did I know then that I missed the opportunity to have my last cup of coffee before a 3-month drought that is to follow. the only period in my life that I was forced to do without coffee, as good as any reason to want to get fluent in Thai. Despite my hearty change of attitude and lively chatter, I can't help but feel increasingly somber on the inside. Is this how I leave the island, which I've come to call my second home? Couldn't they at least wash the windows so that I can take leave by taking it all in, as clearly as one can with these bars in front? I know this route so well, Raja Ferry. Do you remember that little gap in the trees on the way as you get close to the ferry? The one that framed a little hill in the background. This is the image I have when I think of Thailand. I see it now. I remember. I'll never forget. The sun comes up. How long since? How long until? I see the ocean. The lazy waves are ignorant of all human vices. The rocking of the boat is so sweet. It makes me feel as if I'm in a trance. This is not reality. My foot hurts when I twist. So this must be real, mustn't it? Of course, they're not letting us out of the van to roam the boat. Why do I even ask? There I go again. Hope. But we're prisoners, not vacationers. We kept locked up, hidden away. At least we don't have to row the boat in this galley. Off the boat and onto the road. This is my first drive through the mainland, and for what it's worth, I'm glad to be on the move after such a long confinement. I take out a small face cloth and try to soften the grip of the stubborn steel hand around my ankle, and station myself so that I am half turned, that I can open the little piece of window to allow the wind to ruffle my hair as I try to sort through my thoughts. Can this be the very reason that I got moved? Particularly now that I feel like all is as good, or it can be, because I have learned all there is at this specific place. I've passed all my tests, overcome all my obstacles. I am prepared and ready for the next stage. And where this next stage begins, I'm about to find out. Love, Ashley. So this is part 1, and then next week we will continue to part 2, where she arrives at the bigger prison here just outside of the city of Kon, where I live. And yes, I don't think any of us who have not been in such a situation have the slightest idea of how scary that must have been. And I think I know that as soon as I decide to ponder too much on what my child must have felt and gone through, then it would just drive me over the edge, definitely. So, but by God's grace, we are able to stand and to go through this, and yeah, to trust God. And as we look back now, we can see all the grace, and all the great testimonies, all the little miracles, which are actually big miracles, God has performed. And yes, we are experiencing more and more each day. So we praise God for that. And we know that the day is coming closer when Ashley will be released, and we are very excited about that. So yes, that's it for today. Thank you guys for joining, and have an amazing weekend. Tomorrow I plan to do a video on my travels on the airport, our new airport here in Nakhon Si Thammarat. which they have recently finished. It's looking quite nice, brand new, and it even smells new. Yes, so I will post that, and then you guys can see what it looks like. I'll call it Lynn's Travel Channel, maybe. Something like that. As Warren said, next thing it's Mom's Cooking Channel, whatever. So I'll maybe do a few of those in future, more and more. Who knows where this is all taking us, hey? But yeah, keep the faith and be blessed. Have an amazing rest of the day and a great weekend, guys. Thank you so much. Bless you.